This is Minnesota Liberty, brought to you by the Libertarian Party of Minnesota, bringing you peace, prosperity, and freedom from the land of 10,000 lakes.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Minnesota Liberty. My name is Rebecca Whiting, and I have with me today is TJ Hawthorne and AJ, who is our executive director. I have a list of events that we have going on around the state for the party. So if you want to get involved and you know where your, congressional district or where you fit in, or just wherever you just want to show up to somebody that's maybe 3 hours away, that's fine too. So anyways, our next event is the Beltrami County affiliate is meeting September 9th at Bridget's Pub in Bemidji, Minnesota. The Lift Bridge Libertarian is meeting September 12th at Warrior Brewing Company, and that is in Duluth. CD5 is meeting September 12th also at Spring Street Tavern. September 13th is the CD4 meetup at Stout's Pub. CD6 is meeting September 14th. CD2 is meeting also September 14th at Fireside Restaurant. And then we have the Libertarian Women of Dakota and Goodhue County is presenting a homeschool microschooling discussion. And that is at Spiral Brewery on September 23rd. Then in addition to that, we have been doing virtual meet and greets, or just open to whoever wants to show up. And we're doing it via Zoom. If you have questions you want answered, or just meet fellow libertarians around the state, it's the first and third Sunday of every month. The link to be able to get on to that Zoom meeting is on lpmn.org, as are all the events that I just talked about. So if you need more details or you want to reach out. And that is also a good place if you want to come and join the party. We also have a link there where you can do that. So today we are going to talk about the state fair, which the Libertarian Party of Minnesota had a booth for the entire time, and just kind of discuss how it went, because it was I don't know, would you call it exciting? Was it TJ and A were both there, so good time?
I would say that it was very exciting. I'm always glad to have the booth there. It's a really great outreach program for us. We get to engage with the greater crowd that may not necessarily know what libertarianism is, or even that the Libertarian Party exists. So we also get the people that do know who we are and aren't necessarily on our side that come by. But hey, you know what? I enjoy a good debate, so it's always a good time.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely
no doubt.
experienced that. I've met a leftist at one point, and I realized about 10 minutes into the conversation that he didn't come to ask questions to be converted. He was trying to convert me.
Exactly. Yeah, they definitely come up there thinking that they're gonna change the people at the booth, and I'm like, no, these are the most hardcore people showing up. You're not
Right.
changing any of our minds.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it when they're random folks just walking by and they read the shirts that are up there that say taxation is theft, and they say it out loud. And sometimes you see the gears turning a little bit, and then there's and it's like, yeah, hey, let's talk about it. And then they look at, sometimes when they read the shirts and they laugh and they look at us, no, I don't want to talk. Or sometimes they do engage, and it is a lot of fun.
I think it was maybe you were there, TJ, when the guy walked up and he was like, taxation is theft. I can't remember who it was, but it was around. Anyways, you were there the same time I was. And he was like, but what about the roads? And I couldn't help myself. I was just like, my roads, you know?
Always the favorite one.
Easy.
And always the first one for the less. And dang it, I don't want to act like I'm enlightened more than anybody else, but really it's pretty easy. And I actually love talking about that one, because I love the way Larry Sharp has a great idea with building or sponsoring roads with corporation dollars and shit like that. And but that's always the first question. And really, the other first thing I go to is looking, when I first got involved with this politics stuff, I looked at the state budget, and out of the pie, the roads and infrastructure is a tiny little sliver of the state budget. I mean, it is a small, tiny sliver. And it's like, what about the roads? And look, they're crappy. Everybody knows that these are the crappiest roads out there. And that's the easiest one too to talk about, the incentives or whatever. So that was a great, and that it's always an easy one to get rolling with folks. And then you do have the ones that are uber Marxists already and have done some reading in that other side of the propaganda spectrum, right, where they're very deep into it. And so I got really deep into it. A couple socialists there that, when they start by calling you names and they end by calling you names, it's like, well, whatever, man.
Yeah, I do remember that one that you had at the end of the night. That was a bit of a struggle for us. But the roads is definitely the easy one for people to come up and just say right off the bat. They think they're kind of even getting you really quick, and it's like, well, no, there's all kinds of different solutions than just taxing for the dollars. So this is actually kind of a no-brainer for us. I kind of wish that people would come up and ask a little bit harder questions sometimes, but I definitely was getting to the point where I was like, I just wish we had a little tally mark so that we could tally every time somebody asked about the roads, so that they know that they weren't the first clever person, the most clever person there about the roads.
Yeah, we should do that next year. Have a tally mark, like what did people ask, and have that like a whiteboard or something.
Right.
Well, that was, I don't know if it was normally a thing, because this is the first year I've ever visited other party booths, but the DFL had they gave you a corn or a bean or something, and you drop it in what the best legislative victory was for. Anyways, and so Action for Liberty did the same thing for their Republican nominees, and so maybe we do that. Have drop a little porcupine thing or something, and
collect quills. We're gonna have to get a lot of quills.
Gold.
Yeah. Right. Oh, I like that. But yeah, so I mean, obviously, just trying to engage with the people and talk to them about like the issues that they wonder how would be done in a libertarian society and stuff is always fun. And I mean, you can even sit there and you can say the correct thing a million times, but as soon as they get you on that one that you're like, well, you know what? I don't personally have an answer for that. They're like, see, this is where it all falls apart. Like, and I'm just like, come on now.
I got asked at one point. There was a lady, and you can tell by their, the way that they kind of walk up there, as though sometimes one of them caught me a little off guard. But this lady walked up, and you could tell she, her shoulders were all like back, and she walked up very bold and everything, and started asking questions. And she wanted to know about the rainbow flag with the Gadsden. Like, she was like, that's not compatible. And we're like, actually, yeah, it kind of is, and then she was like, but what about the kids? So that's another one. What about the kids? And school lunches, because obviously kids would never eat if they didn't have free school lunches. So we got to answer that one too. And anyways, afterwards, there was another Chip was with me, who is very just, he's one of those people, like, if you need to help calm somebody down, he kind of has got that personality. And so he was the first person to talk to her, and she just kind of diffused this situation. And I'm not that person. I don't diffuse situations, but Chip did. So I was a little thankful for him in that moment.
Yeah, I had a couple of times where when I was having the conversation with people, and I could just tell that they weren't there on good faith or anything like that. They just wanted to stir the pot. That I was just like, yeah, I'm done with this. I don't, you can walk away. I don't need to keep talking to you anymore. And to try to give you're in the Libertarian Party, you got to be used to doing stuff like this. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm also a libertarian, and I don't have to do anything I don't want to, because I'm a libertarian.
For sure.
Go ahead.
Well, there's some times where, it's almost like when you're petitioning, you don't want to waste time chatting with the guy, because when there's this big flow, and then there's sometimes when it's just you and me chatting for, it's just us chatting for, a half hour, 45 minutes, and nobody's coming around. And then, so it does. There are times you got to pick your battles of who there are. And then the best thing was to see the young kids come right up and say, I want to sign up. Like, I think I saw at least 4 or 5 kids that, not kids, young adults
younger
that
than
were
us,
ready to sign up to be libertarians. And I think there was one guy that was like, yeah, man, everybody I know, all these young kids I know are ready for a third party. And I'm like, right on, man, that's cool. And then 20 minutes later, there's another young kid saying, this will never work. You guys are just dumb, whatever. And okay.
I mean,
that's the diversity that you see, the thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that walk by. It was really cool.
Yep,
Oh.
it's you're gonna get it all over the spectrum there, and kind of talking about spectrum. We had the world's smallest political quiz that we always give out there, and as you can see, the spectrum. I don't have the picture on here, but I'm sure we'll have them posted on our website and stuff eventually. But it's mostly left leaning, left leaning and libertarian people that come up and take the quiz. And it's so funny too, is because the people that come up and actually are trying to take the quiz who are left leaning said, yeah, I've always heard that you guys are just a bunch of conservatives. But like you can even see right on the board, the conservatives don't even really come up and give our booth the time of day because they think we're just stealing votes from the GOP or something like that. So it's kind of crazy for that.
Yeah, I have the results to the world's smallest. Can you see that? Oh no, that's terrible. No, that didn't work.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean, I could pull it up, but I don't know how to share it on here, so I didn't feel like trying to figure something new out.
Yeah.
It's fun though. I love that quiz, and that really is obviously the best conversations. That Sunday morning, Bob was out there, I think, and he was selling that quiz hardcore. Just, hey, you want to just take a quiz? And that gave me like, oh, that's actually a good one. Just, you want to take a quiz? And some people are inquisitive and want to take a quiz. And one girl was saying, well, this is so reductive. And I thought, well, it's a quiz. We just want you to foot traffic coming through, and it's reductive. It's meant to be that way. And to just get a little snapshot here, and did end up being a good 10-15 minute conversation, but it really was stonewall.
I think people don't realize just how accustomed we are to arguing with people. They just underestimate libertarians. People in general underestimate libertarians' ability to carry on an argument and be unaffected by it.
It's because we're mostly introverts and kind of just stick to our own until we're ready to actually speak our mind, exactly. Yeah, so I'm looking at the we've got a list of all the people that like signed up newsletters or even became new members and everything, and it looks like we had right around about 100 people that actually interacted and signed up for a newsletter. We had about a little over 50 that signed up for actually becoming a member and everything. So, and, just that type of outreach, over 12 days, getting 50 brand new members. That's awesome.
Next year is going to be huge, man. I hope. I really think that folks are really going to be motivated to be looking out for a third party next summer.
Right. Yeah.
Especially an election. It's going to be an election year, like leading up to a presidential election too. So
we're definitely going to be engaging. If you were at the fair and you're watching this now, we're going to be engaging you over the next, few months, just because we're going to be trying to get the word out there for 2024. We're going to be doing some training, I'm sure, to make sure that people know how to do petitioning and stuff like that. So just be ready for all of that, because we're going to need all of your guys' help for sure. Like it's definitely, it takes many to get this party going and get the word out there for us. So just make sure that when we send out the call, you answer.
Yeah. So how many hours did you pull at the state fair booth, AJ?
So it was a lot.
If you get a good estimate.
I would say so. For the shifts that I signed up and the amount of time I showed up, I would say it was about 88 hours that I was there in the 12 days.
Wow. So, over 12 days?
Yeah. And then
including the setup?
So no, that was, and then we also had the day of setup. We're gonna have the day of teardown coming up next week, and then also all my travel time. I live 2 hours away from the fairs, so that was about 48 hours of travel time over the 12 days or 24 hours or something like that. But yeah, so it was definitely a tiresome time, but the energy when you get there, you just start feeding off of the people. As soon as someone walks up and is wanting to, like, no matter which way they're going, even if they're hot and they want to argue, or if they're just like, hey, I love you guys and keep up the good work, no matter what, all of a sudden you just feel that rush of energy that kicks in, and you're just ready to go ahead and talk to them.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was there with you at Saturday and Sunday night, and you didn't act like you were that wiped out at all. So, you know what I mean? You had the energy, and that was awesome. I loved hanging out with you, man.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, I try to keep it going. It's if I'm tired, I'll sit down or whatever. But as soon as someone shows up, I'm just like, hey, got to get back up and get going
100%.
again. So right, exactly. So, but yeah, it's always been fun. It's something that we've been doing for a lot of years, and it's always pretty positive. The results. The shirts. We haven't started talking about the shirts yet.
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah.
The shirts were a hit. We had Make Orwell Fiction Again, which came in third, and that was, it still had, I want to say, over 50 of them sold or something out of the 150 that we got. And then there was also the Taxation of Sept, which was a play off of an old design. I see you're wearing the sweatshirt, but we ended up doing a gray T-shirt this time, and that came in second in sales. But the one that was huge was
Oh man, we would
just
have sold a lot
everybody, even if people weren't buying it, they were walking by and saying absolutely,
Yep,
totally agree with it. Is the Don't Feed the Animals, which had a picture of the Republican elephant and the Democratic donkey on there, and yes, people absolutely loved it. We sold out of the sizes that most people come up and grab within, I want to say, like 2/3 of the time of being there or something like that. So it was very popular.
Yeah, by the time that we got there on Saturday, that one was sold out of like the sizes that we would have gotten.
Right.
And so I was like, oh well, it's fine.
Yes, so we will be putting that on the website and ordering more to make sure that we can get some, because we were telling people who were coming up and asking if they had a 2X or an XL or large, and like, no, there's a lot of them. We missed out on a lot of good chances for some fundraising with that, but it's okay. You can never guess which one's going to be the good one or whatever. So it was still a great turnout. I think that was I think we only had like 5 shirts left overall, which is not normal for any of that. Typically, we have a lot more shirts left over of each kind. So it really shows that people are sick of the two-party system. And we just need to make sure that we are the party that they start looking at instead of all of this other stuff when they're starting to look for something else.
Yeah, and maybe next year. But next year anticipate more of those sales too, because will be a presidential election year.
Yep.
And I bet that'll be, because it'll be on everybody's mind, especially Labor Day weekend. Summer's over, you're going into the school season, and then election is less than 2 months later, right?
Oh yeah. Yep. We definitely we should have very instead of maybe even just like, obviously should be leaning towards libertarian principles and everything, but we should definitely just be hammering on the Democrats and the Republicans with our message next year, because that seems to work. That seems to grab the people, and like I said, they may not necessarily know about us or anything, but it's a good chance for us to introduce ourselves is by bashing on the other two parties. So
well, it works for everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if this is a spot to ask, but I'm gonna. So I remember it did come up during the time there. Next year, because it's a presidential, we're gonna have longer times to petition. Is it gonna run into the fair? Are we able to bring a petition to the fair, like for the president? No, that wouldn't be. That wouldn't, because the ballot.
So that's something that I would definitely ask
when does it have
director
to be done,
or someone who knows into that kind of, because
that would
I
be
don't
too
know
late.
what
That would definitely have to be too late.
I think it's 2 months that you get for the presidential.
2 months beginning, yes. That's what I think. Chip mentioned that the time was longer. That's who I was talking to. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Chip wouldn't.
Sorry, blew up. I just seemed like a perfect time, because everybody, a lot of folks were just kind of like walking by. I dig it, what you doing, and just keep walking on by. It's like, come on.
Yep. Yeah, we get a lot of that, and we always hope that people are just they at that point in time, I just hope that they're voting our way at the very least, even if they're not willing to sign up for the party. I know libertarians are kind of hard pressed to sign up for lists and
put their, that's
like
a huge one. That I ran into that petitioning, and I want to bring up one of the guys I spoke to told me he hadn't paid taxes in over 4 years. And he's like, oh yeah, it's in the Constitution. You don't have to pay taxes. And he's so straight faced and kind of so serious. He could have been an actor, acting, just trolling me, trying to
Just to
whatever.
see, right?
But he totally kept his story until he left our conversation. Like he went into more things about his knowledge of the Constitution and what's in there that you can get away with not paying taxes. Like, okay,
Right.
I think
So what
everybody.
My husband worked with somebody who got his paycheck like he didn't ever fill out, any of the tax forms or any of that kind of stuff. And he was completely like, he'd never paid taxes. He'd never done everything that they had that was taxable was either in his wife's name, or I think where they just did it illegally. Like they just ignored it, but he got away with it. I mean, he never got caught. Tragically last summer, he died of something totally unrelated to that, but that he just, when he got his paycheck from work, they wrote him a personal check and he went and got it cashed and he didn't use a bank or stuff.
Wow.
So they do exist, but I can't.
Sure.
I mean, you got to be very careful about, getting
Sucks that you
around
do,
all the.
yeah. I mean, it should be fairly easy. This is mine, and however I collect it, whatever, and come get it. But yeah, they sure as hell will come get it.
Yeah, they have. They've definitely done it to many people.
That's
very armed.
Yeah, the folks that and again, a lot of the folks that did stop and talk were from the left. Usually, are the ones that do give you the time of day, and a lot of socialists that don't realize that you gotta take from someone else to give to this. And so, are you doing this, or should we do this? Where everybody raises up, and that it just won't compute with so many folks.
So I kept trying to still break down the wall with people that were, you could tell they were socialists or, wanted a lot of the free stuff. And I was all like, hey, you know what? I'm not even opposed to socialism. Go ahead, buy your land, invite whoever you want onto it, and build your socialist society. Just don't force it on me and don't make me have to pay for it. And I don't care. Go ahead. And
Right.
you just know that it's not going to happen because it's just it's not going to work because it's never worked ever. So I mean it's pretty funny, but at least you kind of allow them, you still give them their, they feel good about it or whatever. It's like, somebody's like, oh, it sounds like what you want to do is a commune or whatever, and I was like, well, I'm not opposed to people owning communes and participating in communes. It's just don't force it on anybody. Like, go ahead and do whatever you want. Yeah. What was
the one socialist, or I'm not, he called himself something, and I've been trying to remember what it was that he called himself. It was something very Russian sounding. And but it was very, it was obviously very associative with communism. I can't remember what it was. But anyways, he just kept asking me questions. Like at some point he's going to catch us or make us slip up or something like that. And then Joey was with me also. And at one point I just kind of was like, hey, what's this question? Because I was getting a little fatigued, he'd already been there for 20 minutes at that point, just going back and forth. And but at the end of it, I was just like, you know what? I feel like there's some fundamental differences that we are just never going to agree on, right? And so he kind of started laughing, and he was like, but he told me, he was like, I've gone to every political booth, and you guys are the only ones were willing to talk to me. And I was like, well, I mean, if they knew what they were getting into it, if I had known what I was getting into in advance, I might have been a little less willing to talk also. But
right.
I like to say that we have a big tent, but ultimately it might not be as big, right? If you get down to the nuts and bolts, that, if you came around and hung around with the party folks and you were that kind of a person and you truly believed it. But I think also, you hung around with all the party folks that came to a convention, you might change your mind. I don't know. My mind was already changed when I came to the last two conventions with you guys, and I'm sold. and 100% in it to win it.
Yeah, you just have to, it's however somebody can reach you, like it takes a while sometimes. You may hear the same message over and over and over again from different people, but it's like, the right person gives it to you, and then boom, you're sold, you're ready to go for it and everything. I'd been doing, third party voting for probably 10 years before I even like looked at what the Libertarian Party was about or anything. But then I went and out and Spike spoke and I saw Kara speak, and I saw Chris Holberg speak at the Burnsville meeting, and I was just like, "Yep, here it is. Here's my money. Let me become a member. Let me what can I do to help? Like, how can I get more involved?" And it just takes that one person. So hopefully, people we reach out to. I always talk to a couple of people, and there's always those one or two that that are gonna actually be showing up and doing things and stuff. I don't know if you guys got the chance to meet Tony. Tony was he was shot out of a cannon when he came up and started talking to us. He's like, "This is what I'm about." He's very religious, and I'm not. I'm an atheist, but I know that our party is filled with a lot of things. But me and him had a really good conversation for about 20, 30 minutes about how he can practice his religion, and that's fine with me as long as he's not trying to force it on me, and I'm not trying to force my atheism on him and everything. That's how we are, and next thing you know, he was so he came up just kind of talking to us at the booth. Somebody signed him up for a membership, and then like 3 days later, he was volunteering at the booth, talking to people with us. So, like,
That's cool.
that's the you get those types of things that happen, and you're just like, yes, this is exactly what it's all about.
Heck yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Spike was one of those that helped like keep me, in the party. But honestly, with the one person that was like, the catalyst for joining for me was Karen Ann Harlows.
Okay.
That was at National. So she was the reason where I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take this leap, and I joined the party.
Yep.
And so.
Yeah, they basically were just for me. They were just talking about getting involved. They kept talking about how change isn't going to happen unless people start getting more involved. And I was like, it's right. Like this is the only reason I'm actually at this rally is because I knew that I had to get more involved. So it was,
Yep.
just the right time and the right message and the right delivery, and perfect, it just aligns.
Man, other than the last 2 years, I never would have thought about going to a political party booth at the fair. It's not on a damn checklist of all those shirts you see walk by that say Sweet Martha's Cookies and the whatever, all the checklists. It's not stop at the DFL or stop at Republicans weren't even there as far as I knew, and I actually walked around for a couple times.
They're right by that Martha's Cookies that's right around the corner from our booth. So they're there, but
Republic-
they're far back. Yeah, they're far back. You don't really see them that well, and they don't really have anything too much going on. I think they showed that they had like 3 candidates is all they had promoted or
Wow,
something
I
like
didn't
that.
see them.
So
I did see the Democrats and Amy Klobuchar had her own little spot
shed,
too.
like they had the little
Yeah,
shed there.
shed in Action for Liberty. But again, that never would have. I seen a lot of folks that either were blind, like we just didn't exist, or maybe they saw it early and they knew don't make eye contact kind of thing. And that was probably me back in the day, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But the last 2 years, that's been my focus at the fair, and now it's like I'd see the advantage of all that foot traffic, and that spot we have is pretty nice actually. It's got plenty of shade throughout the day where you don't get totally burnt up. That's really good.
Yeah, our spot is really awesome. I do believe that Al Franken used to have that spot before we got it. Once he stopped, promoting it and everything, that's when we finally were able to get in there and get it. I know we've been going there for about the last 10 years. I think I saw a picture where someone had it posted like about 10 years ago was that same booth and everything. So it's still going strong, and I'm sure we're going to keep doing it. I think we're actually we were talking, and this is probably early stages of things, but maybe even trying to get either a bigger spot next year, as long as it's in a good location like we are in for that one, or even maybe trying to see what it would cost to get one of those permanent locations like the DFL or the GOP has. So, because it's basically we got to start trying to, if we want to we want to show that we can be like the big boys, we got to have a place just like the big boys for the people to stop by and everything. So
It's
we gotta
coming,
show them
man.
they got to show
It's
them why
coming.
we're the third largest, or the third largest third party. So, or the third largest
Yeah.
party. Sorry, there we
Yeah,
go.
wait a second. Yeah, the too many thirds there.
Yeah, there's a lot of thirds going on in there. So
We're the first biggest party after the major parties.
there we go. That was a good way to say it. But yeah, so I want to thank all the people that showed up to volunteer too. Rebecca and TJ, you were both huge, especially during that last little weekend there, the Labor Day weekend for that last push. You guys took on a lot of shifts. I want to say thank you to the three major ones. Stephen Baker, who shows up every year. We call him Mr. State Fair. He, I want to say, signed up for 24 different shifts, so he was there for about 48 hours.
Wow.
Over the 12 days. So that's awesome. And then both Joey and Eric Train, who are both on the state fair committee, took huge roles this year. They, I want to say Eric, I don't remember because I know Eric and Joey both added shifts on even after like we started the fair and everything and stayed longer and everything. But they put in a lot of hours beforehand too, getting things ready, getting the logistics going. Joey was on the spot with restocking and everything. So I mean, it was like this takes a lot of people to get this done every year. It seems like, oh, hey, you got a booth and it's just 12 hours a day for 12 days, but there's a lot that goes on into getting this done. And without volunteers, we wouldn't be able to do any of it. And honestly, this year was kind of a little bit of a sadder showing for the volunteers, but I would say that it was still we were able to get it done, but we definitely need it's so much easier to engage the crowd when you have 4 people at the booth at all times. You're really going to get a lot of good engagements. You're going to be able to make more sales, things like that. So always want to look out for more volunteers, but still I wanted to thank the people that did show up and made sure that we got this done this year.
Yeah, speaking of the, it was nice when we had a couple, 2, 3. There were times where passing off a person, this like Rebecca was saying, like I'm tired of talking to this person or whatnot. And excuse me, same thing happened with Bob. Bob was talking to somebody, and they kind of lost in translation at some point. But I knew exactly what it was. So then it was like, oh, but it's this, and then well, then he just goes over and talks to somebody else. So like I said, it comes in spurts where it's really wavy of folks, and then
you're just sitting there talking amongst each other for half an hour,
or when there's a jamming band going on behind you, and everybody looks like they're looking right at you, and it's like, oh, okay,
and
somebody waving at somebody else behind me.
Hey, oh no, okay, see you later.
Okay.
Yeah, we had on Sunday there was a band that was doing Johnny Cash songs, like
that was fun.
and that was
That's
yeah, that
awesome.
was fun. And then Saturday was some sort of I guess I'm not sure what to call them, like Latin kind of music.
Was it the like the windpipes and stuff?
Well,
yeah.
But
they
was
had
there
at
all
one
day, both
point,
days. They're
there all 12 days.
Yeah.
I get pretty sick of their music by the end of
Yeah.
it. It's good music.
Well, at
It
one
is
point
good,
they had,
but
like, the dance floor was covered in people just like they were having an actual party.
yeah,
Well, it's better
it
than
gets big.
the canine show for the DNR saying they got
Yeah.
how many canines so trained to smell fish and to detect
Zebra mussels.
the zebra
It was canines
mussels and
detecting zebra mussels and
and
fish.
it really and people eat that shit up, and it's like I wish we could have like a okay, pause these guys for a moment. All right, now understand this what they're taking, and they're putting you in a situation where you believe that you're doing good. Am I doing good, sir? Am I doing good, sir? And then you got to play these stupid rules and stupid arbitrary laws. And don't get me wrong, I understand invasive species freaking suck, and they took over our lake in North St. Paul, no doubt. People can be irresponsible, but then it becomes impossible to get rid of that stuff. I digress in this stupid tangent on this thing.
But they trained dogs to sniff out zebra mussels. I mean,
on the next podcast, TJ talks about dogs sniffing out invasive species.
Yeah. But those that stage behind us was fun to have. It's I do like that spot, but I guess I don't know how much of a good old boys club it is, that state fair, the Minnesota State Fair Committee. You know what I mean? As far as how far we're gonna get,
Right. It could be that we can't get much more than what we already have or whatever, but I figured
Yeah.
it's probably worth a try to ask just to see, because I mean, we're growing, and like I thought of another way, because I mean, we need a lot more space just so that we can store things, different shirts and sizes and things like that. And um, if we can't find a space that goes bigger or whatever, then we have to basically build our booth higher and just put like a storage up there or something. But that's yeah, I'd rather try to find something bigger. So, but we'll see. Yeah, State Fair, good old
No,
boys.
but our booth it sticks out. Like it's a nice, bright
Yes.
yellow. It's kind of.
Everybody thinks that we're an information booth.
Yeah.
I got that quite a bit, and I was just like, I don't even know how I got here. Can't tell you where to go.
There was a handful of people that I may have confidently gave the wrong directions to.
Well, I was thinking though. Remember, I was thinking like maybe everybody that has any little booth gets that many people to ask them directions, because you work here, you must know everything that's around. It's like I come in, I go to this spot.
Right.
I mean, this year I did during break times. I did walk around quite a bit, but
I do know where a lot of the stuff is after being there 3 years and stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's times where it's fun to, like, yeah, I just got to ask 5 times in a row, so this guy's getting the wrong directions. Yeah, that's not horrible. Like if they're asking me to get to the buses or something, I want to give them the right directions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just keep going. That wasn't there like 3 entrances for buses and.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so if you just point in a direction, eventually.
Speaking of getting lost, on Saturday morning, maybe it was Sunday morning, but it was earlier, I think, during the day. One of the cops were just driving his Exploder down the road and stopped, parked, got out and ran forward into the intersection and picked up this little girl. And the little girl was lost and lost her mom and dad. And then it was parked. They were parked right on the bench right across from us for probably about a half hour. And then next, after every time I look over and he's just sitting there with her, like eventually he's going to get a call or they're going to find her there. Right. But that was freaky. I cannot imagine what that parent was thinking at that moment. Like when
yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people there.
Scary.
A lot of people there.
Yeah. We lost we were at a rodeo, and we had a 4-year-old at the time who was, a flight risk.
Oh yes.
And he just took off running. I wasn't actually with my husband when it happened, and it was the fair in Beltrami County, which was a lot less people, but he was a 4-year-old boy, and like you turn around and you're supposed to have your kids with you, and one of your kids is missing, and there's like, I heard about it after it was all resolved. Thank goodness. Because, like there's that panic that you have when your kids aren't supposed to be there. I can't even imagine, because there was a lot. I don't think I've ever seen so many people all in one place as I did at the state fair when we showed up, and we walked in from like one of the, the bus entrances. And it kind of is on the top of a hill.
Yeah,
and
by the haunted house
down
there. And you look down that hill and you just see all the heads.
And you could just see all the people.
Yeah.
It was just like an ocean of people. And then even like trying to get to place, you were just shoulder to shoulder with people everywhere you went. I never did find those pickle pizzas.
No way.
I was really sad about that. I never found
I had pickle pizza every day. I had pickle pizza both days, 2
Yeah,
slices.
I had it like 4 times.
And it's a long line, but
oh man.
I totally would have told you or showed you. I would have walked you there.
You know what I'm gonna do next year though, that I noticed with how long those lines are, is I'm gonna buy 4 slices and then I'm gonna walk back up that line and sell the other 2 to people that are at the back of the line.
Might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, exactly.
People would pay that for sure. They pay $5 extra a slice to get out that line.
25 minutes I just saved you.
Yep. Right.
Yep.
That's interesting. Yeah. I think I thought of that, but it is a little obvious with everybody there. And then, you know what I mean? It would be kind of, but if you walked all the way to the end and been like, hey, now you just.
Yeah. right.
You just, wear like a trench coat or something.
Just
And
get
be
all
like,
kinds
"Hey, I
of
got you
kinds of
pizza."
pizza.
I think they
And
got
all
to
the-
get another spot. You know what I mean? Because their line was the longest of any that I saw.
Yeah, I usually would get there after I closed the booth down, so that was awesome because then I could it was like 5-10 minutes, and I
Oh,
had my
sure.
pickle pizza. So the last night it was like I went and got some, and I was there for 3 minutes, and I had my stuff. I was like, yes, this is the way to do it.
Nice.
But yeah,
I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna have to look forward to that next year.
yes, it's definitely a really good choice to go for if you like pickles and garlic and
Well,
pizza.
it's such a pickle theme this year, wasn't it? So weird, and I didn't realize it was becoming a pickle theme. But Jen, my wife, came up with, I got this pickle lemonade, I got these pickle grilled cheese bites, I got this, and I'm like,
yeah, I'm not sure about the pickle lemonade.
It wasn't bad. It really, it wasn't. It just like a hint of the pickle in a lemonade, and actually, I enjoyed it. I mean, I only had one sip, but it wasn't bad. And she keeps telling everybody that she enjoyed it too, and that was pretty good.
How about the new thing that was at the state fair? All the weed smoke you could smell the entire day.
After about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it became pretty
hefty in the smell. It just always, every once in a while, you'd get that whiff of. You never know where it came from because the wind was blowing so hard. So like,
well,
I actually had these two girls. I saw them smoking on a blunt, and they went and sat down at the picnic table that was like right by the DNR booth. And as they were sitting there like passing around, I saw two cops that were walking down the sidewalk there, and I was watching this whole thing unfold. I'm like, oh no, like they're gonna like they don't see these two cops coming. They're gonna have smoke everywhere. And sure enough, like she noticed the cop and she put it down to the side, but she couldn't hold her breath anymore, so she had to let it all out. And the cops walked right through the cloud of smoke that she exhaled and kept walking. And it was awesome. Like I was just like, that's exactly how it's supposed to be.
I wonder how much of a mental switch that was for them.
Yeah, right. Like how, like I wonder if like I even kind of wanted to see if like they tried to stop for a second and was like, oh wait, no, or whatever. But no, they just kept going.
Relief,
like,
right? I feel like that would be relief on them. Like now I don't got to give a shit about the stuff I should never have given a shit about.
Weird. Well, some people say you still get the people that come by and say weed is bad and blah blah blah. I even had a couple of them at the booth this year, and it's funny to me that there's still people out there that have that mentality. It's like,
do we lose it?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I don't know why you would ever say that it's bad, but they've got that reefer madness still instilled in them or something. So it's crazy.
Well, there was a couple of people that showed up that like brought it, with them. Like you can just like the whole mood at the booth changed because it was so strong.
I definitely had this guy in the booth the entire time with me. So and on the last day I brought my bowl and some actual grass and decided to smoke in the booth. So
I was poking one every once in a while here and there.
Yeah, I saw. Every once in a while, you got to participate in some anarchy.
That's right, man. I mean, I was at first. It's like we go to I'd go to the smoking area over yonder, past the pond, and then I'm kind of like, I don't give a shit. It's just kind of turn my back a little bit, but.
I was like, what? Well, it smells like it all around us, anyways. So, like, what's my contribution really going to be like?
No doubt. Of course, it's nothing about like what I'm harming in this little area. It's more of just like representing, and you know what I mean. And even though that goes both ways as well, because it's like, yes, we're libertarians. Come at me, bro. Like, let's talk about this.
But we don't want to lose our spot either because we got kicked
100%.
out smoking weed
for
there.
Sure. I don't want to be responsible for that because that's very valuable.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so I have the dates for the petitioning window.
Okay.
Sweet.
It's May 21st to August 20th. So it just misses the state fair.
Oh yeah, just barely. Wow. I wonder if they did that on purpose.
No shit.
Yeah. So there it is.
Yep, and so ours is probably May 21st to whenever Memorial Weekend day is.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Is it 2 weeks
2
or
weeks.
3
It's the
weekends?
2 weeks. The 2 weekends is all I think
Okay.
it is.
Cool. Is that on SOS website already right now?
No, I texted Chip.
Oh,
Yep,
you've
we
always
always
got the
use Chip.
insider. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to have a petition party actually, like probably that May 21st. I think it's probably what day did it start? Was it Monday? I guess it was probably a Monday when
It's
it
a
starts.
Monday. Yeah, it's a Monday to not the next Sunday, but the Sunday after. I think
Yeah.
is the last day, and then I think you turn it in on Monday that following Monday. So maybe
So
you technically could even collect on that Monday morning, I guess. But
We
May
haven't been.
21st is a Tuesday. So
It'll
but
be Tuesday to
anyways,
Tuesday because Memorial Day is a Monday. That's the
that's
Monday
right.
you can still but I'll have it in before that Friday of Memorial
Right.
Weekend.
Right, and then you just go in with your last little bit on Tuesday or whatever.
But it's going to be
so
interesting.
Memorial Day is the 27th, so less than a week later. Yeah. Well, and then National Convention's right in the middle of our petitioning again, so.
Oh yeah, right. Yep.
Oh, wait a second. So Memorial Day this time is going to be in the middle of the petitioning?
Right. Smack dab in the middle of it.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
They make it so easy for us.
They
make it so easy for us. They want us to, come in and have our voices heard, obviously.
Yeah, we have to pick delegates and I don't know. Anyways.
People start showing up, vote Libertarian.
We need volunteers. We need people.
We need people big time. Not just to walk by and say we support you, but actually showing up and supporting and donating and all of that. We need everything. We're grassroots. We need money. We need people in chairs. We need people online writing things up. We need everything. If there's anything that you think you can do for us, I'm sure we could put you to work.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of opportunity here, and
Great point.
everybody who already is in the party, like especially coming through for the presidential election, if we want to get a Libertarian president, our nomination on the ballot, nobody can sit out of this one. Everybody has to pull their weight because it's too vital not to.
Yep, and if we want to make sure that we keep our minor party status, which I wish we would just be going for major party status, but I know that that's quite impossible task at 8%. It wasn't even easy at 5%, but we need to hit that 1% this year just so that we can keep that minor party status. That's do or die. So we need
Gary
everybody.
Johnson in 2016, right? He ran in. Get my dates and my people.
Yeah, 2012 and 2016 were the 2 times that he ran. So
okay, so 2016, I believe he got 4.8% in Minnesota.
Right.
So we were just under that 5%. And then Joe Jorgensen in 2020, she only got 1%.
Yep.
So
a lot of things happening with those other 2 parties, though, that I really are kind of like, that meme of the guy in the yellow suits, like this. It's like, I feel like they're just falling apart, but at the same time, they could also be just like polarizing, but holding themselves together. And
well, I think a lot of people are still trying to vote the other side out, and that's why they still get the votes that they get. But I still think people are fed up with both sides. Like, the people I know that voted for Biden absolutely hate Biden and still say they'll vote for him again because they don't want whoever it is going to be.
Well, it's full circle there, right? And I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's full circle because, well, then we need more candidates because they need more options. Well, now the 2 parties got their foot on our neck about becoming a damn candidate. And so, now they only have those 2 options to choose the lesser evil. And then
Yep.
I do feel like it's going to be easy for me to get the signatures this year for myself only, but I'm planning on obviously trying to get president signatures as well at a signature party and things like that. And that's the focus on just the ballot access. But we really, like you said, the more volunteers and man, join and run. The more candidates we have too, and just walk a few miles for a couple weeks in the end of May, and we could get candidates that want to run, get on a ballot, and just folks see that there are libertarians. That was a big one.
And there's also a lot of positions that you can run for that don't require petitioning, and because they're nonpartisan races, right? So city council, county commissioners, school board, all of those things, those are also vital positions that, I mean, if we're going to have somebody fill them, it should be somebody who looks through the lens of liberty, trying to
good point,
have those positions. So those are much easier. I ran for school board, so it's you don't have to petition. You just to get on the ballot for school board, I just had to go in and fill out a form and pay $2, and that was how you get on the petition or get on the ballot for school board. But it was very easy.
Yeah, I've been thinking about the city council stuff too. I've been getting involved a little bit with the North St. Paul City Council with something they did with the local batting cages here. That's my boy Bart, but I'm kind of too focused in it right now for the dang state house race. You know what I mean? Where
right.
I don't want to give that up now, but hey, maybe I can slow that momentum down or use some momentum that who knows what happens in 24 and see an open spot in the North St. Paul City Council.
Do you guys down in the cities, do you have townships or is it just city councils?
There are some townships, and I don't know how they work, but there are some towns that are called townships.
Okay. Because up here, we have the towns, but they're not very big. And for the most part out here is just townships. And so you also have a township board that's that they just, I went to our last township board meeting or not. It was in June or July. So not the last one, but June or July I went to, can't remember, sometime this last summer. And when I went there and sat down the seat, they were like, "Oh, what are you here for?" And I was like, "I'm just here to observe." And they're like, "Nobody comes to just observe unless they're considering being on the township board someday." And all of them are about, just by their average age, they're all at least 60, 70. One of them looked to be in their 80s. And all just, they were like, "You can have my spot," so positions that they are technically elected, but they don't have enough people in the township willing to get involved at that level to even get on the ballot and to be voted in. So it would be a very easy, place to get people's foot in the door is at the township level. So something to think about.
County commissioner, like you had said earlier, stuff like that. Anything, that local. And I mean, that's honestly where you're going to have the best results and the best chance to show that libertarianism works too. I mean, I think a lot of people put a lot of faith in, statewide races and the federal races and stuff like that. And it's more about, your congressmen, your senators, and and then your local people, your city council, your county commissioners, all of them. They're the ones that are making decisions that are really impacting your daily life. And it's really easy, like you said, to just go out there and get onto something like that. So, if you're thinking about doing that stuff, now is the time to act.
Anoka just has a open container. You can walk around the city of Anoka with beer now.
Awesome.
It's like the first city in the state that you can have this kind of thing, and that's something North St. Paul could totally use in the Friday night car shows. I don't know if you guys ever been to those things, but it's like state fair every single Friday in downtown North St. Paul. But right off the bat, they said no campaigning. We don't let anybody campaign down here. And it's like, okay, that's cool.
So why don't we ruin a good time with politics? I mean, who wants to do that? Yeah, no, it's definitely it's where we need to be going and need to be focusing on. Get out to your affiliates too. Get out to your affiliate meetings. I know some of them can be kind of far away to drive for some of these people, but that's where you're gonna meet a lot of like-minded individuals that will help you along the way too. Maybe getting something started in your area. We're gonna have to gear up for 2026, where we're gonna need to have 45 different representatives or different boards or whatever that we're going to need to have going in the counties and stuff. So yeah, we're ready to amp up. We need more bodies. We need more money. We need more candidates. So just
Well, especially we don't have any we don't have big donors like the major parties do. Because this is an actual grassroots movement, right? So this is as close to what it gets to, like the founding fathers, the constitutional, like the basis of what the country was founded on. This is as close as it gets to that.
Yep, we want to keep corporations out of things. Not that we don't want corporations to thrive. We just don't want them to make the decisions for our politics anymore,
Yep.
running our daily lives. That's pretty much where we're at. But
yuck.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that after seeing the way that the state fair people were turning out and how they felt about it too, I think we're on a cusp of getting rid of this two-party system and starting to allow more voices to be heard. And that's once that starts happening, then the floodgates are going to open. So
yeah,
and we got to be ready for it. So people, get out there. I know I'm beating a dead horse now, but we need you.
it's okay. Even dead horses need to be beat every once in a while.
Yeah, probably.
I'm not a farmer. I don't know.
Yeah. We have just a few minutes left. So anything else that we need to cover this evening?
I'd like to plug my kickball tournament that I'm trying to promote. So it's a fundraiser I'm having for the North St. Paul Food Shelf on September 24th at Casey Lake Park in North St. Paul. I haven't got really anybody officially signed up. I've got a lot of verbals and some things on the Facebook page and stuff like that. So I've got kickballs and I got the whole park reserved, and got some folks from Food Shelf. We're going to grill out some things and try and just have a fun day. So come on, show up on September 24th in North St. Paul, Casey Lake Park.
That sounds fun. That sounds like a good time.
And we're asking you to do something now where it's actually just fun. So come on out and do that. You don't even have to volunteer or anything. Just come out and have fun with TJ.
No doubt. I'll be doing the umpiring or whatever needs to happen, depending on how many folks will figure it out. But
right,
maybe some cornhole. Definitely cornhole. I got a few folks lined up that have some really nice sets of the cornhole that all set up there too. That fun day. Sunday fun day.
Well, I know our affiliate is meeting this coming Saturday. So we're meeting at an Irish pub here in town in Bemidji. And, I don't know, make some sort of, I don't know, if nothing else, it's a good time to, get to know each other and talk about, everything that you can't talk about in your normal group of friends. So, since you can talk about with other libertarians and not be the weird one because everybody's weird. So it's nice. It's refreshing.
I forgot to say tjforliberty.com is where to go for that thing. Sorry.
Yeah. And LPMN.org for if you want to join the party, find out more information about the affiliates and the other events coming up, anything that's going on. All our email addresses if you want to reach out and get in contact with somebody about, any information. Most of us are very open to, talking to people. So, and
especially as long as it's not face to face, because that's when it starts to get a little bit. People get a little more shy, but on the keyboard we can go ahead and talk all day long.
For sure.
But and I'd keep an eye out for us. Where the state's going to be trying to host a couple of grow your own cannabis, learners things. So we're in the works of getting that stuff, the venue picked and the dates and everything like that. So keep an eye out for that. And those are going to be free events, and basically just come out and get your first little basic look at how to grow if you haven't done any kind of growing before, since we now all can do it.
Nice. Yeah. That's exciting to me. As a gardener, that's exciting to me.
Right, exactly.
I just like growing things. Anyways, and then next week we're going to talk about homeschooling and school choice. So check out the podcast next week, but we'll see you then.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Being on. Bye.